Verifying our IPsec on the Cisco ASA. Let's begin. In the previous video, we configured IKE v1 and IKE v2 policies from the command line on the ASA. In this video, we're going to take a look from the ASDM to verify those components that we implemented using ASDM. Now, one of the challenges I want to address right up front is the fact that I know that some of you are going to be practicing on maybe older versions of the ASA, like 8.4 something, and a corresponding older version of ASDM. Now, the reality is that most of the graphical user interface in ASDM is, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, identical between those two. They may have made some minor changes as far as where they put a checkbox on a given page, but all in all, it's the same logical interface in ASDM. So to look at the details we configured for our IPsec, we'll go to Configuration, we'll go down to Site-to-Site VPN, and as you and I use the ASDM to verify what we implemented at the command line earlier on this ASA, we're going to do it in pretty much the same manner that we did the command line. For example, one of the first things we did, we set up an IKE version 1 policy and an IKE version 2 policy. And to see that, we're going to expand the Advanced section, and we're going to select IKE policies. And at any time, here's our little trail of breadcrumbs to remind us of exactly where we're at. And here's our IKE v1 policy, and here's our IKE v2 policy. And of course, if we wanted to add more or edit them, we'd use the appropriate buttons right here. For our IPsec, we have our transform sets. So to see that, we'll go to IPsec proposals, and in parentheses it says transform sets. And here we have our IKE version 1 IPsec proposal, the transform set, called our T-set that we created. Here are the IKE v2 proposals. And here's the one we created called IPsec v2-AES using AES. And for data integrity, we're offering MD5 or SHA. And one of the benefits of this IKE v2 IPsec proposal is that we can have multiple options specified as part of the same proposal. Whereas in the case of transform sets, if we wanted to have 5 or 6 different combinations, we'd have to have 5 or 6 different transform sets. And on this page, IPsec proposals, this is an example where a different version of the ASA and a different version of ASDM might present this on this same page a little bit differently. For example, how they're organized on this screen, but the same information is here. So regardless of whether you're using an older or a newer version of ASDM, this is still the place you'd go to take a look at the details and the transforms that your ASA is going to negotiate for the IPsec essays. We also created some tunnel groups. Now, in a site-to-site tunnel, the name of that tunnel group is going to match the IP address of the peer. And in ASDM, we have a different name for a tunnel group, and it's called a connection profile. So in the connection profile, we have one connection profile called 10.10.10.6, which is the IP address of R6, the peer. For the crypto ACL, any traffic that was sourced from our inside network and from the ASA's perspective, that was 172.16.50.anything, and going to the 10.6.6 subnet, which is identified by the R6 network object. That's our interesting traffic. And for this connection profile, we have IKE version 1 and IKE version 2 enabled. We also use the global config commands of crypto IKE v1 enable outside and the command crypto IKE v2 enable outside, which is why this one is checked. Also, under the general attributes for this connection profile, we specified that we wanted to use a group policy called Group A. To see the details of that Group A policy, we can simply click on Group Policies, and that's where we'd find our Group A policy, indicating that both IKE v1 and IKE v2 are acceptable. This also shows us right here that this policy called Group-A is being used by the tunnel group called 10.10.10.6. And in ASDM, it's referring to a tunnel group as a connection profile. But indeed, it is one and the same. And for this tunnel group, if we just click on Edit or double-click on the tunnel group, either way. So our peer is 10.10.10.6. The connection name for this tunnel group, which is referring to as a connection profile, is 10.10.10.6. The local network and the remote network are courtesy of our crypto ACL. There's our Group A policy that we assign to this tunnel group. Here's we have IKE version 1 and IKE version 2 enabled for it. And for the pre-shared keys, which they put under IPsec attributes for the tunnel group, here's our IKE version 1 pre-shared key. And if we use the tab for IKE version 2 settings, here we have the pre-shared key for the local authentication and the pre-shared key for the remote authentication. Last but not least, we have our crypto map. And to see our crypto map, we can simply go over to Crypto Maps and select that from the list. And the crypto map that we applied to the outside interface identified our source network and our destination network. If it's an IKE version 1 tunnel, there's the IPsec transform we're going to use. If it's an IKE phase 2 tunnel, here's the transform we're going to use. Our peer is 10.10.10.6. We're not using perfect forward secrecy. So that's where we go inside of ASDM if we wanted to either configure those policies or to verify what those policies were. As you and I go through these VPN videos together, here's the next 3 videos that I want us to go ahead and visit. And they are all from the course called CCNP Security VPN version 2.0. And they are the courses titled ASA VPN Options. The next video is called Site-to-Site IPsec VPNs, and that's a walkthrough using the ASDM for the implementation of an ASA to ASA IPsec site-to-site tunnel. And then the third video that I want us to go through together is called Troubleshooting IPsec Site-to-Site VPNs. So what I'd like you to do right now is I'd like you to pause this video and make a note. If you have a tablet, you can write on that tablet, or you have some paper. So I want you to make a note of those and make sure that those are the next 3 videos in order that you and I go through in this VPN journey. And I'd also like to take a moment and just reinforce how important watching those 3 videos are. It's not like, hey, this is a kind of a fun idea, go check out these videos. These are critical videos that you absolutely deserve to watch because there's content in them that's going to be valuable to you, both for the real world as well as for those who are pursuing the new CCNP security certification. It's also going to have importance and relevance to you as well. So it's a win-win situation in going through them together. So I'm going to ask you to make sure you pause the video right now, make a note of those 3 videos, and when you've got the titles for those 3 next videos that we're going to watch together, when you've got that written down or recorded, you can go ahead and then hit play and we'll continue this video. I have had a great time. I'm so glad you joined me for this video. Our action items are really simple. Number 1, I'd like you to use ASDM and make sure you're familiar with the various options for cryptography are stored. For example, where would you go to look for the IKE version 1 and IKE version 2 policies? Where would you go to see the tunnel group information? Or the transform set or IPsec proposal used for IKE version 1 and 2 respectively? So practice that. And then secondly, we're going to go through these next 3 videos in order. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video in the CCNP Security VPN course called ASA VPN Options. Again, I've had a great time. Thanks for joining me. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.